Hello, I'm Barbara Levin, and I'm here today with Pat Iyer. Many of you know us as we are nationally recognized legal nurse consultants. We are here to talk about a case scenario of a legal nurse who learned from her client that she was not selected to work on a particular case based on her resume. She learned that the expert that was chosen for the case had many publications, and the publications were very poignant to the case at hand, having to do with delay in diagnosis of compartment syndrome. That particular expert has been published on compartment syndrome, neurovascular assessments, and other topics. The legal nurse consultant was very disappointed that she did not get that job as the expert because she hasn't been published. Pat, could you share with our audience tips and possibly ideas for how this legal nurse consultant should move on to gain clients?
Well, taking this case scenario that you just described, Barbara, let's assume this legal nurse consultant has an orthopedic background and routinely takes care of patients with surgeries that could result in compartment syndrome. The first step would be to point to the professional publications most likely to be interested in an article written on the topic, and then to contact the editor of the journal or look for the guidelines, the publishing guidelines that might be available online. And most likely now are online that will say, what is the length? What topics are we interested in? The next step is to write a query letter or an email saying, I'm interested in writing an article for orthopedic nurses on the clinical implications of compartment syndrome and weave in some legal cases that are pertinent to this potential diagnosis or delay in diagnosis. After making sure that the journal is interested in accepting an article on that topic, then you would begin following the guidelines carefully, because articles are rejected if they are too short, they are too long. Typically, you will get feedback in the form of reviews from people who don't know who you are. They are called blind reviewers because they are blinded to your identity. And then it's up to you as the author to incorporate those ideas. Once you have your article revised according to the reviewer comments, then you sit back and the magic begins on the journal side. And pretty soon you get notification that your article is published. You've got a link, you've got a date, you've got the title of the journal and your title of your article that you can put on your resume that will establish your credibility, authority, and visibility as a person who is an expert in that topic. And you can do this for any clinical specialty based on information and topics that you know well, that you could see would be useful not only to clinical nurses, but also to the attorneys who you would like to have hire you.
These are great points for our audience to carry forward and to consider. We want to invite all of you to our conference, our 7th virtual Legal Nurse Success Conference, which will be held March 23, 24, 25, 2023. This topic will be incorporated into a special presentation during the conference, and Pat is going to explain a little bit further other topics for our conference.
We have a panel discussion at this conference, and one of the people, Valerie Lane, wrote a chapter on how to organize medical records using Adobe Acrobat. She wrote a chapter for a compilation book that we published at the end of December 2022 called Medical Record Analysis, a Guide for Attorneys, written by expert LNCs. This book achieved the #1 Amazon bestseller status in 4 categories. One of the key benefits of publications, as Barbara and I have been talking about, is that visibility, getting in front of the audience of attorneys who are looking for you. And having a publication is one of the key ways that attorneys can find you. Our conferences are 3 days of education, networking, support, and motivation. You come away from them feeling inspired, a little bit less alone. We've got legal nurse consultants scattered all over the country, all over the world. And sometimes you don't have a legal nurse consultant down the block or around the corner who you can talk with. This conference is set up to give you the opportunity to focus on education in a way that makes the investment very reasonable. Think about no airfare, no food, no parking, no hotel bills. You and your colleagues learning in all of your comfortable environments at home. Our conference is March 23, 24, and 25, 2023, and the link for it is LNC.tips/March 2023 virtual. Go to that link, you'll get all the information, sign up, join us, get ready for fun, for learning, for inspiration, and a nice shot of adrenaline, without any needles, of course, that you get from being around people who understand you and how you think.
We look forward to seeing you.